If you're looking to get the most bang for your buck with every one of your running back picks, here are 5 of the best values at running back right here at RotoWire. We're going to hop right back into it with our first running back, Achane with the Miami Dolphins. There's been a lot of hype building with Christian McCaffrey returning to the 49ers, but keep in mind, he was out with Achilles tendonitis, which is something that comes from usage, particularly age and usage. So you think about all the touches that he's gotten over the years and the injury history that he has, because I understand that he's had a healthy couple of years minus 2024, but we are really betting on best case scenario when you can simply get the cheaper version of the same risk with Achane. The 49ers have a shaky offensive line. Miami has a shaky offensive line. You want a running back that dominates a lot of the target share? Achane had almost 15% of the target share for Miami and had RB1 numbers ever since he was a rookie year. If we're worried about injury risk with CMC, why not get that a round cheaper with Achane? In my opinion, the only tiebreaker in CMC's way is Brock Purdy over Tua Tagovailoa. But regardless of who's back there, we know that as long as Achane is healthy, Mike McDaniel's going to cook up things for him. And I think it's even more encouraging that Jonnu Smith is now out of the picture. So that means there's more underneath things for not only Jalen Waddle, but Achane as well. I know that they drafted Jalen Wright last year, and I know that they just drafted Ollie Gordon. I think one of them is a change of pace back, and the other is a backup. If we were to be really worried about Jalen Wright, we would have saw more of that last season. And even if they do command some of the touches, we see hyper efficiency with Achane, and he's the type of player that could do a lot with very little. Next, a rookie, Omarion Hampton. Now, I know he is the rookie RB1 off the board, but his price is still fairly cheap when you consider just how run heavy the Chargers offense is and their offensive line. And his price is only going to go up. So if you're playing best ball or you're doing dynasty startups, you might want to reach up higher than what his ADP is to get him, and it'll still be worth it. He was an explosive prospect, athletic, and has the size. And I've already mentioned this, but I feel like I need to tell you again, the Chargers have a phenomenal offensive line and one of the best rushing offensive coordinators in the NFL. Plus, we've already heard the Najee Harris news. The more and more time that he misses puts him further and further into just a Gus Edwards role at best. I've been high on Najee in the offseason, but when you miss time, especially when you have a rookie with the draft capital that Omarion Hampton has, you need to be worried. So go ahead and take Omarion Hampton because he has top 5 upside. When you consider the rosters that are around them, I don't think it's out of the question that Hampton can have the same upside that Ashton Genty can have at a much cheaper cost. And say what you want, he's attached to a better quarterback. Not hating on Geno. You want talent, you want volume, you want a good offensive line with running backs. Hampton has all 3. I think he is a smash. And if you like content like this, hit the like, subscribe button where me and all the other RotoWire analysts can continue to give you content directly to your feed. And more importantly, if you want all the cool data, rankings, and tools that RotoWire has to offer to help you dominate your fantasy football league, we have an offer just for you. Just use the code YouTube15 at checkout and we can give you 50% off on any RotoWire subscription. Again, that is YouTube15 at checkout. And we'll hop right back into it. TreVeyon Henderson. I know I'm hitting the rookies hard, but I need to point out just how much upside that you're getting at a discount. I know that Ramondre Stevenson's still there, but this should be a run-first team, not unlike the Chargers, with an offensive coordinator and Josh McDaniels that utilizes 2 running backs. We can go all the way back to LeGarrette Blount and James White. They've always had a thumper. They've always had a pass catcher. The difference is they've never had a pass catcher like TreVeyon Henderson. They've never really had a running back like TreVeyon Henderson. He's incredibly explosive, an excellent pass blocker, and I've already mentioned the upside that he gives you in PPR in the receiving game. More importantly, Ramondre Stevenson has fumbled his opportunity away to be a bell cow back. They gave him that extension, that's fine, but it's a new era with a new coach. I tend to value what contracts are on that team much less when we have a new coaching staff come in, even when we have the same GM. That just dictates that he's going to be on the roster, not so much his usage. More importantly, we've seen that as long as the offense is effective, 2 running backs can coexist in a good offense. Now, I don't want to compare Josh McDaniels to someone like Ben Johnson. And I'm not going to say the Patriots are the Lions, but Josh McDaniels has been a good offensive coordinator when he's at the Patriots. There's a reason why he's been a heavily targeted coach over the years. It's just when he gets in the driver's seat and has to manage the personnel that's a problem. I fully expect him and Drake May to cook up wonderful things for this offense. More importantly, they don't have the targets downfield. Now, Kyle Williams, we hope, takes that step forward. Stephon Diggs is strictly a slot guy that's going to be playing close to the line of scrimmage, and he's coming off an injury. Pop Douglas is someone I like a lot, but that's another slot who I think is going to affect Stephon Diggs. This leaves creative things for the rushing attack. More importantly, it means that TreVeyon Henderson is going to have plenty of opportunity in the passing game. At the relatively cheap cost that we're getting him at right now, I think he's more than worth the risk. Whether you're fading running back and going with the 0 RB, this is where you should stop with that strategy, or you're going with the hero RB. I love TreVeyon Henderson as my RB2 or RB3, depending on how you're drafting, because of that upside. Seems like an easy click to me. Now we'll flip the script back to a vet, DeAndre Swift. You know how I mentioned Ben Johnson and how great things were for him? DeAndre Swift is arguably the only viable running back on that roster. Now, I've been incredibly high on Kyle Monangai, but me and I know many other analysts have been low on Roschon Johnson. That backfield has been as wide open as it's been right now for almost 3 seasons, and Roschon Johnson hasn't gotten it done. He is a converted quarterback that moved over to running back and then sat behind Bijan for 3+ years. Now, I'm not saying that he's terrible, and he is a decent gap runner, but I just don't think he's the difference maker to where they're going to give him more carries than DeAndre Swift. More importantly, he's not the pass catcher that DeAndre Swift is. So if you're thinking about a lot of best ball tournaments, or more and more people are playing at least half PPR, Swift is going to give you a lot of value that you're getting at a discount. And it'd be one thing if the Bears were a crappy offense. They were last year, but that was because of Shane Waldron. They have lots of weapons. That offensive line took a step forward last year, and all they've done is improve it again. So we should see a step forward with Caleb Williams, and that offense can't get much worse with Waldron, and now we have mastermind Ben Johnson in town. If we liked what DeAndre Swift was when he was with the Lions before he moved over, guess who his offensive coordinator was for that season? It was Ben Johnson. There are more difficult button clicks, especially at running back. DeAndre Swift seems like a no-brainer. And I know that a lot of people think he can't break tackles or he's not a smart runner. He's never finished less than an RB2, and that's with always sharing a backfield. We've just always overdrafted him and then been disappointed at his production. There's no reason why we can't get the same production that we've seen before, but now we're getting it much cheaper, even after these rookies that I just mentioned. We'll finish on another vet on a new team. It's Jordan Mason. Now, before I give this take, I want to give a clear caveat. You should still like Aaron Jones, but again, last year was an outlier of vets staying healthy even when they're on new teams or they had touches at a higher rate. I don't think Aaron Jones is going to see the same amount of touches, especially with Jordan Mason in town. Jordan Mason has been the best downhill thumper that just came from the same rushing offense at the 49ers. We saw RB1 numbers there with a much worse of an offensive line than he's getting with the Vikings. Now, I know they've had their issues in the interior, but again, the 49ers had a poor offensive line. And the Vikings use an outside zone scheme where Jordan Mason just excelled in. They know how to scheme around an interior even when it's a problem. And here's the key thing. We've already seen with Sam Darnold what this offense can be. JJ McCarthy is a first-round pick who we expected to usurp Sam Darnold at some point last year. He now has a full offseason. This is essentially his rookie year, but few rookies have the support system like he has around him, down from the play caller, head coach, both the same guy, by the way, and the weapons like Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. That means there should be a lot of touchdown equity. And then when you think about the size that Jordan Mason has and what he does differently from Aaron Jones, he's the perfect complement and in the perfect system. I don't think 10 touchdowns off the table, and I expect him to get the early down work sooner than later. Aaron Jones seems poised to be in this change of pace back era. At his relatively cheap cost, I'm willing to make that bet on Jordan Mason. And again, those were 5 running backs at a discount that you want to roster. I'm Jagger May. Love you guys. Hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.